Now, in terms of policy, do you think a zero income tax is actually possible?
So let's do the math. How much money do we need to run our government?
Depends on what you're funding, I guess.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
right now, how much money do we need to run our government today?
With overspending, it's probably you could get it down to five.
Okay,
$5 trillion.
Out of the $5 trillion, how much lower can we go to?
Well, if you get rid of Social Security, you could save 2.5. You get it down to 2.5.
How do you get rid of Social Security? You got 76 million baby boomers. How are you going to do that?
The way I like to think Social Security can be ended is assign an interest rate to all of the money people have contributed throughout their entire life and then just pay them it back in a lump sum and close it out.
So everyone gets their own individual account that's invested in treasuries.
Add it up. I mean, if the IRS can audit us, they can get access to these records, add up the amount you've contributed, assign an interest to it, maybe 5%, 3%. I'm sure people would rather have the money now than later and then just give it to them.
Okay. So how much is that going to cost you? What's that amount?
So
$2.5 trillion? You're saying $2.5 trillion?
Social Security, I believe, is $2.5 trillion of
what else you
the
got
overhead.
Defense.
Okay. Defense. How much of it can you change, especially right now?
I have no idea.
Okay. So our defense right now, what's the number? $2 trillion U.S. defense budget. Okay. How much of that can you lower? Do we need 780 bases worldwide? Why do we have 780 bases worldwide? How much does that cost us? Do you realize we have 780 bases worldwide? Do you know how many military bases China has worldwide? It used to be 2. I think they're at 8 right now, 5 to 8 right now. We got 780 worldwide. Why do we have 780 worldwide? What are we doing with that, right? There's a lot of areas where you can cut. However, this is the challenge. To do that, to get to 0%, the only way that could work out is if that way of thinking controls the administration for 20 years. And that's the problem. Because if you go zero and you put it on all the tariffs that we're collecting from all these other countries, how much are those tariffs going to be? So, for example, the trade surplus, trade deficit. Mm-hmm. Our trade deficit is what? $1.1 trillion per year. We give $1.1 trillion more to other people. Like imagine we're doing business. I buy $1,100 more from you than you buy from me. So I'm always giving you more than you're giving me. If we're business people, the way I described it, you do auto insurance, I do real estate. I've given you 1,100 more leads and referrals in the last 5 years than you've given me. You're not giving me any referrals. I'm always giving you. Eventually, I'm going to be like, why the hell am I giving you all this business? You're not giving me anything. I'm going to stop giving it to you, right? So our trade deficit is 1.1 trillion. China's trade surplus is 840 billion. You know who number 2 is in trade surplus? Germany. Germany gets 220, 240 billion more. Why? BMW, the cars, the fancy cars that they got. So that's the part. So if he hired somebody that can go negotiate with these countries and saying, hey, we've given you this much to make up the difference, it's either we're going to make it up through tariffs or you have to spend this much money buying this much money business from these 20 different industries. And you don't have to do one. Maybe you don't have this because you have it right now. You got to buy the other ones. So I need you to buy this much money from this much money from this much money from this, right? So you're kind of going through that part with them. Great. But how long will that take for that negotiation to take place? Because how long can China take that pain? Maybe a year, 2 years, 3 years? They're like, who the hell are you? You're going to get out anyways. And I'm going to have some of my intelligence come and make sure you don't get elected and J.D. Vance doesn't get elected. You ain't going to do this 0% stuff because I have to pay for it. So the only way I think that happens is, man, you need 20 years to shift the way we think to get people off of entitlement programs. And if you get people off of entitlement programs, like right now, okay, hey, I'm going to cut you to take Social Security. We're getting rid of it. Give a 58-year-old $173,000 of Social Security. You think they're going to keep that money or spend the money? They're going to spend the money. So how much do they have left at 62 years old, 72 years old? And now who has to take care of them? The kids? Now the kids have to take care of mommy and daddy because they spend the money in a hardcore way. So now kids are having mommy and daddy live with them. That's problematic. So we're not a good savers society right now. We have very bad mindset financially. It's going to take you 20 to 40 years to figure out a way to get to 0%. If we have everybody believing in the same ideology and philosophy, that's a tough fight to have. Not in 4 years. It's a very difficult thing to do in 4 years. By the way, if they do it, they deserve a Nobel Prize.
Yeah.
I like the fact that it's brought up, but at the same time, I'm worried that that sets expectations so high that then if they were to do something like, say, reduce it 10, 15%, it just wouldn't even happen because people are expecting zero or they're expecting no change at all.
You set the bar so low, though, that if you get anything, then
Yeah.
Look, it is a great conversation started to go. Like, if you ever read the book, The Art of Seduction or 40 Laws of Power. Have you guys read those two books?
No.
Okay. One of the things he talks about is cast a vision or a dream so big that seems unbelievable. Most people run through the wall for it to think it's possible that one day it'll become a reality. There's power in selling a massive vision or a dream. The greatest leaders of all time that created a massive following, they were very good at doing this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean 100% of the dream or the vision became a reality, but they definitely created an army behind it. Some of them did. Some of them didn't. But hey, by the end of the decade, we're going to land on the moon. Now, you either believe we didn't land on the moon and it was a movie, Fly Me to the Moon, or you believe we did. But either way, the story of we're going to land on the moon, what is that? A massive vision. Oh my God, we're going to do before Russia. This is awesome. John F. Kennedy, let's go, right? It's exciting. So there's a part of it, but man, you need a lot of years of people being on the same page together.